Before we get into this video, I found a little hidden message that I believe the game developers wanted us to hear, and I definitely do agree.
Little wind blows for us all. Come, how about a little hot tea?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Monkey Flop here, and today we're going to be showing you guys Outriders gameplay that's going to release on the PlayStation 5 and for this holiday season. Wanted to give a big shout out to Square Enix and People Can Fly for inviting me out to an event in Los Angeles for free to not only talk to the game developers about this game, but play the game and record it and show it to you guys here today. Fun fact as well, this is my first PlayStation 5 game that I've ever played. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, Outriders is a very ambitious story-driven game where at times you forget you're playing a story-driven game because of the first-person shooter aspect of it, and then it brings you right back into the story. It is a co-op experience, but you can play it by yourself in single player and enjoy it just as much. Today we're going to be going over gameplay mechanics. We're going to be talking about DLC, possible DLC, but let's go ahead and dive right into it a little bit further. We'll talk more about the Q&A that I had with the game developers towards the end of the video. Let's go ahead and discuss it. So what I took away from the gameplay event was that this game is actually tailored to a lot of different people's play styles. Whether you're the type of first-person shooter that likes to run and gun or use cover and stealth, this game kind of adjusts to your play style. In fact, the skill tree that you can build out, you can build it out to your play style. That's another thing that the game developer said as well, is we didn't want to make a game that was just designed for a certain type of player. We wanted the most accessibility possible, and whether you are a run and gunner or you are more of a stealth based player, you will find that no matter what your playstyle is, you can still play this game and enjoy it, and it will adjust to your liking. And that was honestly held true, because when I played it, I used a lot of stealth and cover, and people around me were running and gunning. We talked about the game afterwards, and a lot of people, said variations of the play styles that they actually played the game. Now, there's 5 characters that you could play with right off the start, and each character has unique abilities that you can use, and it has 3 different abilities and special powers. The special powers were honestly awesome. I loved lighting people on fire, and I loved the satisfaction that came with it. I used that feature so much, and it was great because it was a combination. It felt so fluid. It felt almost natural, like you're shooting and then you use your special power and you continue shooting, and then I loved when the character actually rose above and it was on fire, about to die, and just explodes. That was my favorite part of the entire thing. But besides that, like I said, you could play with a friend or you could play it by yourself. I was actually honestly ahead of a lot of people that was playing in my queue, and we actually played a part of the game that you can't see here today because it's got a lot of spoilers and subject to change. I progressed through that part a lot faster, and when it was time to actually group up, I was a little bit more far into the game than the rest of the people that were sitting with me. So I decided to actually go and play on my own. That way I can come back with the most gameplay and be able to show it off to you guys. I will have more gameplay on Game on Monkey Flop, my second YouTube channel. So tomorrow we'll start uploading gameplay with no commentary, so that way you guys can experience the game for yourself, just the way that I played it. And we won't have any commentary on it, so that way you guys can hear all of the different sounds and everything that they put into it as well. Now, the game developers have a big, long history of developing first-person shooter games. They said that was in their DNA, and it definitely did show. One thing that was really nice and refreshing was their passion for their game that they're building. You know, when you talk to a game developer, you can tell right away how passionate they are. And these groups of game developers were so passionate about the game that it showed so much. And that was honestly refreshing, because let's face it, you don't get that much these days. So many people are pressured and in a rush, and these game developers are just in love with what they're creating. Another thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit more was one of the things that I wanted to ask, but didn't get a chance to because somebody had already asked it in advance, was what are the DLC plans? And they did say right off the bat that there's not going to be microtransactions in regards to loot boxes. This is not a looter and shooter. This is not a looter and shooter game. This is, meant for you to experience the story and be able to replay it as you like, without having to worry about, looting and shooting. There are drops where you'll kill an enemy and you'll pick up new weapons, and when you advance through the game, you will get weapons as needed. But there was nothing that they mentioned to where there was going to be any purchases that would cause the game to to make it more easier or advance faster or anything like that. So I thought that was pretty cool and worth noting. Another thing is DLC. They're planning, they're in talks about DLC. Their main goal and focus is to ship this game 100% and have it ready to go. When I was playing it, it was rock solid. Didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. A lot of people are comparing this game, especially in the gameplay preview event, a lot of people were comparing this to, Destiny. They were, comparing it to Borderlands 3, to Gears 5, to so many different first-person shooters. And with you watching the game, let me know in those comments down below, what did this game feel more like to you? Because when talking to the game developers and asking them, okay, what is it that gave you inspiration for the game? And that's one thing that's very important to me when it comes to asking game developers questions, is what was your inspiration for this? And number one, for the story, they read a lot of different books throughout the years, and they honestly wanted to design a story that was completely different and unique. Because they do read a lot of books, they had a lot of different influences, but there were so many books that they read that they couldn't list just a few. The list would go on forever. And as far as like the first person shooter aspect of it and their inspiration for that, they are game developers that have a long history of making first person shooter games. It's in their DNA. And what they said is, we wanted to play a game that we are going to like and love and be able to play for a long time coming. And that's exactly what they set out to do, and that's what they did. Now, there are some things that we will be discussing about the game a little bit further in detail. One thing that I did want to mention is that the gameplay, you could play it as linear as possible, and you could go straight through the story, or you can experience it and expand a little bit more and play through the side missions as you go.
See what wonders I have for sale.
Another time, mister. I'm having one shitty day.
Bitter wind blows for us all. Come, how about a little hot tea?
Not much of an inventory.
Don't mind all this crap, Honorable. I keep all the good stuff in.
Should have paid, old man! You're altered. I didn't know.
Think I care? He was about to show me the good stuff.
Just acting on orders.
Whose orders?
Barker, he runs the Hounds gang. He's trying to take out all the vendors in Rift Town. It won't work.
First fucking day.
Another cool thing is that when asked from the game developers, are the side missions replayable? The side missions are replayable, and the reason for that is they want to be able to give the player the choice to relive those experiences all over again. Another thing is, as of right now, as it stands, if you complete the entire story and want to play it again, you will keep everything that you earned when you start over. Now, I do want to mention that the game is still in development, but that is what they said the game is currently set with. So if you defeat the game, you pass everything, you could start a new game all over again and continue with all of the weapons and upgrades, skill tree, and special abilities. You could take that with you. So that's another cool thing to point out. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching this video and the first look at Outriders gameplay. It's going to be released on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X this holiday season. And it was so cool, honestly, to play it, be able to talk to the game developers. And I can't emphasize enough, like, you know, their passion behind this game is amazing. One thing that I will tell you though is, if you decide to pick up and play this game, please don't light yourself on fire from your own ability. I did that a couple of times. Anyways, you guys are freaking awesome.